Hello, greetings everybody, wherever you might be watching us. This is your favorite program, Think Point Podcast. We are back again with another segment, and our guest will join us very soon. But before we allow our guest to join us in the studio, I'm here today with Doctor, the co-host, to take you through this session. Without much ado, I will allow Doctor to greet the viewers, the listeners, those of you who are watching us from the Gambia back home and abroad. We also have a lot of we also have so many followers in Europe as well. We are very grateful for your followership and everything that you have been doing, encouragement and trying to support us at all ways in which you guys can do. And if you are watching us today, you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Think Point Podcast, whereby we'll be bringing you so many episodes every week, weekend, and even weekdays, depending on our schedules, because you know how things work here. We pay bills. Doc, can you
Boss,
hear
bari
me?
double game mo ko.
You cannot hear me? Ah, Doc, then you have to go out and come in again.
Is that from my end or what?
Yeah, you have to go out and come back again to be able to hear me. I think, let me check from my end. What do not get my phone before where I am audible? Yeah,
Is that from?
so you gotta go out and come back again, Doc. Yeah, so do that. So today we will be having Almameh Gibba, the National Assembly member for Fonyi, Councillor. Doc, ikamwele sa.
Yep.
So na preambulo di already. I mean, Lomelani Gibera sa nyo konto. Then ning guess ni binana.
Sare mo lang kaya ngalo kontong tol nal kontong you know. It's another Saturday. It's good to be here and of course to have a conversation with you all, and while we have Wanyamindrong, we would have a very prominent, a very outspoken guest. Almami Jibe is a great guy. I have a lot of respect for him. And so it'll be great to have that conversation with him, among issues that are happening, within and around the Gambia. So quite a lot of things are happening. Walmo kula de meni alon kwe kumala purunga kachan wala. So, it's good to be back here and it's good to have this conversation. And, we hope you all would have, a great time following and sending in your own, perspectives or sharing in your comments and what you think about what's going on. So generally, it's the Gambia, it's our country, and it's important that these conversations continue to happen. So nobody would shy away from them. We would make sure the conversations are happening, Okay. As a Kolea Nyaonya, we must have those conversations about our country. So it's only through dialogue that we could, bring about meaningful and positive change in our country, that we all wish for. So in the end, either you are in opposition or within the regime, these conversations are very important because the common denominator here is the Gambia. So amanke moketa bankutembeden tawalla so wato kumbeden ning wala drong mbele bala kolo kachala kajibeko, you know different perspectives are heard, respected, no matter you know the differences in thoughts. So all of those things are quite very important going forward. So all of them cool to while we wait for the guests to join in. We wishing all of you a very wonderful weekend, and it's El Clasico. We could get a Real Madrid rugby. O mono to sumiala ido.
Ika Barcelona support.
Oh man, yeah, Barcelona. Like Messi has been Messi changed global football, man. Barcelona no Timo Gibela many years ago. When they had Ronaldinho, Samuel Eto'o, and Xavi, Iniesta. Wale karadam fo falin defe. O karadam fo follow. Bim bam. Wale bim bam wale fale yake tap tap. O Timo ka Timo jokole. So since then, I was so much in love with Barcelona, watching them play Arsenal in the Champions League final. As kids growing up in the fringes of Combo South, even borla from one corner to another corner, broke at football. Jibel, no time of football.
But 2012, if you had remember, covering Chelsea and Barcelona knockout from the Champions League.
Yeah, that was a
Very good.
painful day, but Omanga could me remember back. But I would long. Fully allow all You support Chelsea or what?
Yeah, I support Chelsea. And
Ah,
then
hold on.
another
Chelsea.
touching moment for us Chelsea fan that was 2009, I believe. Covering, Barcelona in Istanbul eliminated from the semi-final.
Ha referee la jai om to nyal tidi o very nga Barca support nya referee la jai. Yeah, I wanted Barcelona to win, but football not just football, life in itself, whatever you do, do it with honesty, man. I know that was a game that
And guess
belongs to
what?
Chelsea.
I watched our game here, for the first time. It has been a dream come true for me,
Wow.
going to this
So you go to a
stadium
football
watching Chelsea
stadium to
playing
watch.
football. It's so nice. And the World Cup is coming too. I mean, I think Senegal, France, without Jibera.
Sinyakel no ndanga football o jibe start boy. My o Gambia la 400 mala 417 lo 420 lo mba yo championship o minke Gambia ngama Gambia la win fango de. My kodo ke ay jolom filo kono kate bor kate kata fang fay jalo kono. Was it a mentality. So I think one of the games we went to watch, Gambia was playing, I don't know which team or some ababu set up boy. Olo mon tol tamo dala kabiring jana bakaw.
Mhm.
Fo tiba garas lomba fon tambita fo ba ko te lomba mala wala mo boy tebe do yare wod la boy o sama ben do busala ka kata mo wod la jam kabra bo dol kom fay ko man jarente
No,
je fo
football is a joy for Gambian and so many people, especially young people, regardless of anything or everything that is going around the country or anywhere in the world. Gambia pasen ita West Coast jibe wala KMC. Nye funding ke je ka findi kara football by the jibe nyami. If one call nako, this is something that government or the regime or whatever they need to invest heavily into that.
Andola
Because
mo fana me muna la wolum fo data buje boy to yere no team gara boy for the first time they went all the way to the final they needed to clinch on the trophy man.
so
But like
referee
regardless they have
last
they've
man
done
like
their
game
best
motinya na
man.
goal was called in the first half of the game. I scored the goal.
Ah.
Na here the last man of offside. According to the back,
And then another second half, like, I just tune into the TV, man, for LSTV one number. They're doing great with trying to show people local football and all of that. But the good thing about Tujerang is that the first time they came, they've made their mark, they've shown their presence. They did not only participate, they competed and
exactly.
competed to the last game of the competition. So there is no way anybody can say anything about that team. Great commendations and how much respect to the team and of course everyone who was out there to support those boys. They did extremely well. Your
Yeah,
first
but
time into a particular competition, you went all the way to the finals. You did not just come to show that we are here or we are coming to participate, but you competed to the last game. Even with that last game, you competed to the last whistle. So okay, yakatala man.
Samslam Walam Bude, and you back. And
Boy, I
then
got some school for $100 boy. I could get a money or like and then I'm block, but I'm under that. But I under could get they women for Langal and little one in Tonyala. But I wish him well. He's a great guy. He's played a great role in a lot of young people's growing up in the Gambia. Political don't matter, but Mokendo Mati,
yeah,
that I know very well.
Kudo ke Dimala,
He has nothing in his heart. He loves young people. He supports people. You know, one thing I know is Sabs is a good guy. Okay, probably if you don't know him from a distance, you might think otherwise about him, or you see how he interacts with people on the web, and you want to probably conclude on him on the basis of his interactions on the web. But knowing him personally, he's a great guy. Phenomenal personality. Very helpful and supportive person. Of course, you would argue. Internet I will see that down. But we argue to agree. It can be very tense here and there. But yeah, if I
yeah.
think it cannot be on the web and you expect everybody to support what you support. If we support something different, it doesn't change the fact that no love lost, man. But
Exactly.
nengere kumol kay olmang nyinya yalong ila kodoke do bija ka bulu bulale.
Go, but
But
all
it's more
Windom
like
on for new Windom la for old Windom. I mean, kuno ya lefri baramajiran. These are some of the things me alna ko. Aka kena wetan no kana start le bango kam. I think footballer ni na katala nya so be nya ko gaje ko sportsmanship. Aning kudo ni tenku ko samba ni ada footballer la fana. Kumara ba.
no, hooliganism is crazy, man. Sometimes some fans and even sometimes some players, they can be over the moon and act disorderly, which is not right. Okay, all mumbitang already, no yundum. I'm not sure if all the players, but I think all yundum la fana
But they have a
but
very one of the
Yes.
most phenomenal National Assembly member. The guy is so open to
No matter
everyone.
what.
I think all you do, barola.
Oh, apply si say yeah yeah
Yeah,
yeah yeah
apply,
yeah.
apply. Yeah.
Ngamere ebe UDP lo ko do kela min benu state house kam wala fengol be sunya je ya jamelo jamano UDP ya sambaje police o mati ida da
Oh,
place ba
oh,
dia la wodula
Busumbala. That was
da be ko
Busumbala.
wodna ka ko do kela bagasol be yonkol je mo kurumba. Wala number na follow. But yeah, Abdullah he
Apply.
said
Yeah.
the good thing is I associate a lot with him. He was one of my students at the UTG. Very, very respectful, young man. I had a madungo horom, I had a madungo bunya, I had a madungo kulia. No matter the political differences and all of that, Abdullah is one person that I have, very, very high regards for, a lot of respect for that Kotoke.
Okay.
So irrespective of whatever you believe in, he doesn't look at you from that angle. There's one person who believes in Gambia and believes in, his politics. He does his politics here and there. And we argue and disagree on a lot of things that he does. But at some point we have a common ground because at the end of the day, yeah, Iduyata nyako to nyawo nyaka ajelo ko nyum karamola tunu irrespective of age, irrespective of political position here and there. But a very, very phenomenal person, lot of respect, he's working for his community, doing all he can to support all Yundum and of course uplift them, from one point to another. So wala kumada. Palazzo Mankeko, because you support this particular political party or whatever. It's about being able to, deliver results to your people and being respectful to your voters. But of course, this is the National Assembly that I personally consider as one of the worst, man. Many kila salary la fa, ika banko mulu to je ni pare ika clothing allowance di fangol la, ika moto baldi fangol la parado ni kuko nangol. But that's their collective, actions. But individually, each of these persons are, good at whatever they do at personal level. Not each of them, but some of them. In the, like and among the some that I would consider to be, great people would be Abdullah. He's a great guy, man. I like him. He's got tremendous respect for humanity and for people. So
Yeah.
all on
Yeah.
Kudumi
I mean,
Kumar and there,
there
man.
are some National Assembly members. I have my reservations with them, but some of them even being part of the regime, that doesn't mean that they do not actually fight for people. Sometimes, political came moving that to another part. When you look at, this guy, how to call it, remember FR committee from NPP. I think the nominated member, is somebody who is very, very solid too at the parliament.
Oh man, I don't give much respect to that guy, man. Is it that guy who used to be on the many Baro Youth Movement form, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. I don't know him, man. Is that he looks younger, the tall, slim guy you're talking about? I know the person you're talking about. You know, wal be political law from quarter boy. Wal be non political law from ka fo je nyaadi le that
Commission.
committee they call it, about Jammeh's asset. And people ya Jamela Bagasul be waf, ya talai da multi manila masakunda mulu, anila dokulal, including office of the president. So ni wal na rakatasi yo commissioner daga ka fon tofondia, adon di, ka fo almost no nyadi da fon ami ben sudani mo kotangol lakang. You can visibly see politics in his actions and mannerism. Those people I don't consider them to be men of integrity and patriotism. They do things that suit their political entity, and they are just ordinary politicians who feed on only, politics. So, socially, professionally, and whatever, I don't rate persons like that. But that's just me. Something Fofana, I think that would be his last name. Abdullah, I have a lot of respect for. He's a great guy, phenomenal personality. But yalong ko ka get into nyani tamandola. But you cannot pretending, that pretentious behavior. I'm trying to do justice. I'm acting all tough when in reality, tolakal, kala salary la fatili mbalian in tajilinte ya ka kuel ke mini yalong ko ini silo ni saratol manta. Wal nal finde da kamera nyado rek alfon garawon dia tara kuta ko mana mageta palian in tilimbaliati.
Yeah, I mean, Parliament should play a very significant role. If you look at American Senate today, if I just go in look at Bangkok, you can mold someone because they have a right, they have that power to summon authorities or people that are actually holding particular position in the society. People got their okay, command Kenyan interrogate. I mean, now I'm a tragedy mean get the other time. Yeah, for no cabin kuno sida no kabi jida no kuno kono. I mean, Gio ka dai kumbali wala. Ning swift respond keda wala, jikita and money or load that tamila killing for the summer. I mean,
Moro, along this backway syndrome, and of course the tragedies that are happening. Koman Dominga Ken, if you look at this historically, you would understand that people will tell you if you look at migration, it always has a push and a pull factor. But the Gambia's context here, even that push and pull factor, let's put that on a sideline and look at it from a national security perspective. Now, akwai tan tolbe la loko time sort of Gambia la back on a purio fenkenung, what people did was try to make sure that we have internal security we secure our, water bodies. Molka maneke, e kata Senegal la an wota mo fanga pour ka finti Gambia fanga ni alje in group oni so biti la fanga kamina ko kata ba ko yela because e kata Senegal la motol ta kata all the way to Libya. We were even able to stop a couple of people from doing that. But at all to a level that they got into, 7 days getting into, the Gran Canaria. They were using Gambia's waters. So imagine ni mol ka fo ko mo jama min bije manke Gambian or ti adunta jabota jana. That is just a layman's excuse. Imanke Gambian or ti bareka dunkulu ngala banku jumala kan.
Gambia.
So where is our national security? Where is the security of our water bodies? Where is our navy? So Gambia wala nyindi control ka na manke katia gas of protestal control, we cannot secure our territory. So where is our territorial security? So the whole point is just flimsy and of course lazy excuses that ministers and government officials would give you because minkumata nyinkuoto wala nyintiko atoloman dolla watal from protect no. So how about our marine resources? If you cannot protect people from using our waters into migration, so walbuka akela bankol kai kanake Gambia. So Gambia is the route for illegal migration. That means the government has normalized our water bodies as a way to actually go to Europe. And then look at our water body in total, the Atlantic Ocean belt there. Imagine an 81 kilometer coastline. We cannot protect that. Just 81-kilometer coastline. Until we cannot protect that. And we know all of these communities where kulungol kata dami. Ko barafonyo ko niko police oleko or probably soldier oleko, they have to go and protect our waters. The same people will remove their uniforms and get into the boats and go. Soldier jalnim police jal leave ila uniform or wura don't kulungol kona. Simply because of what? The push factor. What is pushing them? How much are we paying the police officer? Natara tonya ka police officers will let's say $10,000. Moro money boto be wuli fula kemesaba. Niatare mari bora na santol de be rent la combo. Maybe your rent is about 3-4,000. So wala wodoka is almost 6,300. Moro nin dimba le be bula lon ko luwo le tanya da depense lo bonde la Gambia sa pour subo fa pour yo do mo konton alon ko la depense almost 1,500 2,000 kada subu kilo mo jallete me for 500 lomba. So nin dimba ko ndala wala lon ko kilo fula wala kilo saba ibola fenkela. So what am I is already 1,500. One in Tulo Ninja one in Kukota Mana. So Gambia still a nimble be diamole wafoka, why are people going? Why are hey, what are they caring? So these people who are in government would just tell us, garbage, when in reality ebe fangolo jola kodiballa e murunda kotenge to events will organize like just a way to steal resources. It have done what ibe travel nyin la ko nyamatol just to get more per diem. Imagine paying a minister 200,000. He travels every month one or twice and of course makes another 300,000-400,000. Before you realize in 1 month he's making 1 million and more. This is how the scheme of stealing from the public happens in the Gambia. So kana nyo barande dukare. You know, Okwala. Oh, I could get him for come, election of me, I don't know, cool, okay, get a whatever time we're talking about, from okay. You want to comment in ela la money meaning probably
Go.
all ka interview ka bang for.
Go. Lavin Mane boy. I think you're characterized boy. Aliu Kora boy. Ako mo political entrepreneur.
Alo koram kay warang walti. Nila for political debate like you go and debate with people many along ko you are the same wavelength with them. Wala for nyaka dia. Alo Kora is politically whatever that you would describe him. But kabira another UDP, why did they embrace him?
ako ako Aliu is a political entrepreneur.
But if he's a political
But
entrepreneur,
I tend to win. No. I mean, Aliu Kora. I think this guy, how to call it, UDP la spokesperson. Sorry, not the spokesperson. The communication, whatever. Mimano Jades director Yarano. What is his name? Come on, said it. You
huh?
know, it's like a tender win KMC. Okay, you reckon so long below when it comes to this scholarship, true. Again, I mean, I do not even know
But
how you
but
got
but
it.
but did he win the tender rightly, or he won the tender because of affiliation?
Well,
That is
we have,
something to consider. And
yes,
then Nyoko Omari is politically inconsistent, but not at all. Yeah, then you still appreciate and of course give them positions for one thing.
exactly,
Tabali was APRC. Yabora J started talking about NPP. Kabiring a final Nikudo Lak, and he came to the UDP, and they make him what, their campaign manager or something like that. For one thing.
exactly.
So if
Oh,
you're talking about political inconsistency, it's about ikabon and daming ani kata daming ibe jibela fanande. Alam political ate atela ku
so
kacha pale atale.
Honorable is here with us. We will just allow him to come up.
Right.
Honorable,
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, good evening to you all. So unfortunately, I was kind of very tired within the period.
exactly.
I think it's a battle of Torobora Mountain. Uh, but notwithstanding, I'm back. I just wake up not long ago. Because yesterday I arrived very late at night. Because we were sorting out one or two things. Based in Fonya, I'm back, and I thank you for being part of this wonderful platform that I was introduced by Job. And I believe we will amicably get various selling points of discussion. And this is one part of me where I've went and in an online discussion, though I do go onto the media outlet, both print and electronic media.
Mhm.
But for a platform of such, I think this is my first time. Yes.
We are deeply grateful, Honorable. Kontanda bage ke solo jambi. Mbakacha kala nim mandika kawala. Tumando bare saje molmi mboswol ko ni sa fam no bare kamin kacha. Andu kacha nim fanam ba kuno nim fanam la demande. But then mbaduna kacha kono. It's good that you have greeted our followers and those who have been waiting on you because na program ni start no like 10 minutes ago mbakacha random kacha la gambe kacha bagaba. But without much ado, we would love to you to introduce proper yourself and then you tell us yeah from Mole Jamal Almameh Gibba Ulu de Sade Jamal and I Karama Fananda Muta Mundole. Just take us through about your professional and then
Yeah,
your
thank you very much, Omar, uh, Sambu, and also Job, being the panelists. I am Ntentumu Almame Jibalete. Wuluta Sade Kamemfo, Sanga Jod, Jiramba, Foni, Kansala constituency, West Coast region. Ngana school all that is Sanga Jod primary, rose to Koto Senior Secondary School. Briefly, Kaberinga Bang, I went to Gamtel Training School where I obtained my City and GL diploma in information technology and software applications, where also I did my studies in Cisco Certified Network Administrator, then MCSAK, Cisco Microsoft Certified System Administrator. I also did my database administration course with Alasin Online College, where I also did my various salient certification programs in ICT and management, cybersecurity, web-based management, with some of the institutions. I also did one university in Kenya, where I attained my diploma in database administration, which I completed a year ago. And also, in that also, I did my diploma in information technology and computer science with Amity University, India. Uh, Later, I also pursued my diploma in software and graphic design. These were all salient professional courses in America before I attained my bachelor's degree in information technology. Then, in which I worked in Gamtel over 20 years. I was posted at the training school, that is GTMI, Gambia Telecommunication and Multimedia Institute, GTMI, where I had worked and also rose from assistant lecturer to lecturer. And also my last position that I hold before the call of my people to represent them was the manager of IT studies and training at GTMI, where I had that portfolio for a period before I got a ring call from my people of Kansala that you are in need. But based on that, before doing all those things, I'm also a da'i. I do perform da'wah, that is preaching, uh, in various villages in the Gambia and also Guinea-Bissau and outside Gambia. That is also my noble professionalism that I also do. Apart from being the lecturing and also the ICT environment and also in the teaching field, I do also practice dawah. Visit markers in the center and also go on to the length and breadth of the country. There is no village in the country that I haven't visited, and there's saliently little or small mosque that I've not visited. All in the name of propagation of Islam. This is also my second job, and still as a representative, I do that one also. Yes, so earlier on, I've also did my part-time lecturing at Microtech Institute of Technology, School of Journalism, Majak. I do part-time. I left them when I engaged in Parliament, but since then I was also be part of them. Future Stars Gambia, into Leketa Multimedia create into supporting the vulnerable children, which have also instrumentally performed a role there. And again, also, I've set up an organization in Fonyi called Fonyi Youth Development Association. And I'm still the Secretary General of Fonyi Youth Development Association. The mandate was when our people were terrorized, arrested, removed from office, ill-treated, the coalition government, when they came,
I think he's having some issues there with the network. That is Gambia. Maybe Gamcel knew that. I mean, official for coming on, but I'll not go.
the death of Aruna Jat,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
a lot of heinous crime that we. Yes, sorry, I had a problem. Calls are internet. So this were some also of also in the propagation of Islam. We've also established a lot of Islamic schools in Fonyi, and again also the madrasas, and again also building mosque with a lot of charitable foundation. I can tell you from Bulok to Kalaji, wherever you go in every village, I'll tell you this mosque is alienly done by us. So this were my path that I've also played. And lastly, also about 80 students that have completed Quran recitation at least 4 years ago. It was our effort to make sure Fonyi is also seen beyond that. So aside away, this were partly of them. Then year 2022, this was the time that I was called to join politics. But before that, also I've also obtained my master's degree in in international relations and diplomacy at the University of the Gambia. I think last year or so, or year before last, I've completed it. Currently, I am still a student at the University of the Gambia studying MSc in public admin. I have only a semester to complete my coursework. The dream is either within my 5 years, I have a double master's or a master's with a PhD. So I know maybe for PhD will be something, but I am working towards attaining double masters. And hopefully by our time is ending April 2027. Hope so. I will complete my thesis with the University of the Gambia to attain my double master. So actually, this is me, and I've also went through talenting to go and make research and also land, engage in a lot of scholarship, Imam Fati and all that. These were all of my scholars that have engaged them. So for me, partially, I was seeing myself as somebody who could do both. And I'm still not losing hope. And I will also work towards doing both. That is the Quran, the Arabic aspects, and also the English. This is what I'm also working toward. And in the future, I may also leave politics to venture into key issues that I think will be also very useful. So this is part of me. And finally, also, when I was in Gamtel, I was also the vice chairman of Gamcel Staff Credit Union that I hold for a period of 1 term. Then the second time I didn't contest due to the fact that I'm called to be a parliamentarian. So these are some of the issues that I've also went through. Yeah, thank you.
Incredible. Such an incredible background, doctor.
That's quite incredible. Akakumante abake beyond education, both, religious wise and of course Western education. Hadamadin jedrong e wuluta damen kuluro ning dindi yala ka kumasi walleto. And then I believe that the origin of all knowledge is from the home, the household, the community. Because even though those things we are losing now, but back then it's the community that brings up the kids. It's not just your immediate family. And knowing, how typical phony settings would be, every household, every children within the community belongs to. How was it like growing up as a child in the neighborhood where you grow up? Because that shapes the kind of person you become in the adulthood beyond what you've learned in the classrooms.
Yeah, actually, I could bakele and ninga add up if I could say this. Uh, Being in phone benyame,
Mhm.
kuluro benun nyame, and also looking at this toxic environment of politics. I think when I voted for election, I can tell you, ntola imamo akonyoko ako jiba bentol jamfalal. Nga ko mbal jamfala nyaden. Ako ni nendi rosiata, ni kajafirol, albitala rally to ni misikolu. Ako lunki la sisi ka fo ko malafi, ntele lafta bare malafi. Nko I will try and keep things rolling. The definite is not about me. Because when they approached me, they had to hit my mother because political it was different. So it was difficult for me to accept because but it was a tough time where Pony was going into a lot of crusade in terms of one in Kebal Bay, the director of ports, removed unceremoniously. The director of NAVEC, MD of NAVEC Bondi, director of NAVEC Bondi, Gamtel Bondi, GPA Bondi, a lot of soldiers, all the like of General Kujabi, Silla Kujabi, Naval Bondi, General Sow, who lives in Sibanoria Bondi as a general, he was nothing. So the target was, it's just like a witch hunt. But like, we don't want to involve in politics, but I think activism will perform a role in making sure we put this government to a full stop. So Kabilo Okeda, we are so focused in religious activism and supporting the vulnerable, orphanage, Fenkolu, Islamic, whatever, and also going through work and in our best that we could. These were our salient points. Jamila Wato, na BJ politics, or we go and vote. We speak about these issues, good effort, Kamelke, school, like Carola, the support that is doing for scholarship. But it was not like in the midst of seeing me into real politics as I'm doing now. But near Jube, at the back days in Fonyi, Kulunya Walenko one, Alpha Nene kana diamu, yela Alpha Soso. Kulanjango, yeke malolati in the society. Sabanjango, yeke multi mealonko. Inya, iba yele la damen, iba diam la damen do, ibe fengo mentala, hake fenti mealonko, sama niye kumandi. It's a certain. This was the upbringing that we had in the rural aspect of Fonyi. And the unity in Fonyi, it was exceptional. I mean, I am from Jiramba. Near you in Jiramba itself, we have Jomokunda, Padasila, Mesangajor, we have the other side, Tintiba, we have the other side, Dumbuto, Burokan, Fenda, Sangajor, Manokang. So it's just like we're in the middle. So all these villages, Kafolu, Boysolu, Akeda Muldi Melon, Kanyobo, Bakel, to defend the cause. Cleansing exercises, silol men nota, nimfengofen keta satel kono. So we were brought up that. And what they told us is, fonyi mukilineti, fonyi nete kela flat. Ni bota kalaji. Ni kalaji ko benta, along ko inin kansala ko benta. Ni nata for berefet, ni berefet ko benta, along ko inin kansala ko le benta. So this was how we were treated. Even school. The last time when ni bita school, ni manson kada school. Alpha membe sangajor manokang na amoy ko jiba membe jiramba aman songa ko asinano ila sade kona ay lipa photo nya sabati fente no la je fente kuno la je. So the people were taking ownership of each other. So this was why it was a better foundation for us to fit in the current toxic situation melan ko dol melen kadiambo wol malon dol brought up lo nyamen and fanang chosano na be kela Allah sate mol buka take ownership of Allah juju and whatever. It is the other side well ownership ke. And support was coming health and shelter. And again also in terms of farming, ikadenne senoke. So this was a society Ntolu kuluta damendo and wuluta damendo, and yet still it is that society that we are. Femantol samba. Ntoli aje nada combo. Ntol mambo combo. I can tell you, even my father, na mama nyolu, nying bakawi kamel moy kotu nyolu, abuko nyolu, I kornal bele soto je. But do you know what he told us? You know, dulaka sunkane, imano mambetia, the environment was toxic, it will test la jang. I would bele wafe amuta fonila. So this were the people, melan they believe ko. Ndolanga stay fonyi wala kumada kadasi kombole. But now we've seen the change in fonyi in combo. Melan go sign to nga yeah. But actually, until I can tell you, all my lives I did in Fonyi, Ninjita Jan School in Katale. If work, I go to Fonyi. From there, I'm not somebody man I'm coming. They pick him from Combo to go and represent Kansala. Football activism war when Kansala was vulnerable. Command in Fonyi, 2017, all over. In a Boysola arrest, the alleged for coup d'etats, 2 years in court martial, another 1 year in appeal court. Fembuka boring no. Wo Fonyi kolu. Melka Diame be acting like demigods or advisors on issues. Nabe caring Fonyi. For example, I saw some of my brothers. I told them, I am not somebody man who hide things. Even if I meant for FAD. FAD was born from Fonyi Youth Development Association, in which betrayal leketa waladna FAD sotota. All those who are in FAD, I can tell them what is FAD sotota nyadile. So when they use some of this toxic way of advising as if it will be the gameplay, I can tell them, no. When Fonyi was needing you, you were needed in Fonyi, you ran away. So sign that nata camouflaging in terms of maybe affiliating with the borough government or affiliating with getting position, I can tell them, no. And I am challenging all of them. When Fonyi was Tomel, Jumalebe Lola Kaitaneko, he was part and parcel. I can give you names of those who are there, those who stood, but not some of them who are agilely talking now. Because Fonyi. So Membi the reality in mind is Kuluro was the talk of the town then in Fonyi. Fonyi call more long. Irrespective of Mandinka, a Fulalem, a Jolalem, we were brothers, wallahi. There was a Fula in our village. I was very fluent in Fula. Then it will find they're very fluent in Jola. So with that interview, Manjakolu, Mandinkolu, the Wolofs that in Fonyi, it was like this. It was just like a sick hand. So that was the environment that Ntolu Kuluta Damento. Wala nakakolia bakele, Ninkol Duta. If you see me going ballistic, it means I want to regulate that person. Along where he has to lay his guard. But apart from that, I'm difficult, but I don't want to be yenteke poso kono dingoti, yenke poso kono dingoti. Wala I be an MP of a pocket. Wala you can use that kaiten to go ha yani ni sasoto no. I could have left, I could have gained when I introduced the bill in Parliament. So I don't see that money that will take me off against standing for my people. Ni mol be men ka diamu. And I will be in there and I will continue to be in there. So far Fonyi Kansala Konyoko. Okay, honorable don't love the AG. Then Bafalako, Alhamdulillah, love to continue. I will also say Alhamdulillah to move. But so far I am their representative. And I'm telling you, Fententol Barandinola, Mote Fonyi Kono, wala Amansa Kunda Kono currently. Melsa Fono a Karangolemu, Amansa Kunda Longola a standing nemu. In terms of our people that can sell us, okay, fearlem, whatever. But society and it is still a society, but inshallah.
That's quite elaborate and important. We will get into the discussions, which would be like question and answers. We would definitely have very, I'm not sure if they're tough or easy, but of course it's politics, it's our society, it's the Gambia. This is the common denominator here. That we all see, and then conversations like this are quite very important. We've seen elections came and passed yesterday. What went wrong?
Yeah, actually, Memolbe tend to like a jay back. And I think I will also use this platform to clarify certain issues. The constituency, mentada electoral, wala the ward, mentada electoral. It's not my ward. It's not my constituency, but it is Fonyi. And then mumol the melango, I'm a pan Fonyi. Yani ko pan Africanist. And I'm a pan of Fonyi. Because we will not want politicians melango, they're only there for their pockets or their name. ye na ye phone intrude for only their interest. Ndaka Kenya balafati bake. Tumo mena mbe sula ngila. E man na wato. So tumo mena mansuile la you want to use that chicken chain to come and fool me. I can do me back as a son of Funyi. It is a friend of mine, Honorable Padembo Sane, a la constituency lem. Me alanko, you pass councillor, then go to Bondale. Ndol benga la jola chisano jio menka sari nyokang atole ka lo nyoe. If Bondale is crying, councillor will also cry. If Bondale is happy, councillor also should be happy. And that being the case, Kabiring Ajeko, they announced candidate because Kabiring the late councillor Nyimbanta paya fonyo ko councillor Banta nkoyo ko sign mabe kara la duala la badela and family we console them, but I know IEC will come with a press release ko the constituency by election of Shotland nkay but nga fighter nkay ko other political parties may not vow for this position. But I know NPP hanada ka boku bo ka ku ka ko they will still participate to show their presence. So this said and done in Ata election of Kumasra. Then we have our candidate that we vetted, the people of Bondale vetted, and I support their vetting. And he schooled our Lonne, our Fahamta, and he stood well for the youths in that particular ward. So Kabiri Okada. It is that time consultation was between me and them. You know, we will support wholeheartedly, and I will also commit my people to support Bantanja ward. But the fact of the matter in this election, Malmo and Job, I am disappointed. The disappointment that I have in this election is I don't think the government elites or the NPP surrogates will go that far. On the 9 o'clock suit, I told them and I told the youths, we are all in the same thinking, the same way. You will have politicians that will be going night, house to house, inducing people. Here, honorable parital, and come for a thing. Do something fintinang. The admin secretary. Administrative secretary in CD, Melota no Brikama area council. CD nyadi lemfong. NPP la,
CDCC.
CDCC. Ya fo bondale mendo. Ito malon ko molu be CD nje. They are recording and ya moile. Almameh molu batandi bakele kunu suto. Ntara dawoda akan noma. Dule o fo CD Duye fintina en soso nyina. It all that night is not politics. It all kata mintole. And I can tell you, my own brother, a friend, Trostala as an imam, I was shocked and dumbfounded seeing him at the midst of the crowd in Suto kata molu nene nyimkodindingola. Sefo fana melon kabota kalaji wo fana beje. Al sefo bondali al kosimbalo wo fana beje. So do come in for manka do that matter de. Nto ndu nyol bentale nke bainle ke bodindi we move them as if they are rebels in Fonye. And yes, it's true, they are rebels because you will not do decent politics inducing people on what ground. So I meant for kafo e kunu election konte kola mbedu fana reminder ko ntenga mwele a fondamento a fo CDA fana mol mem bije jama bal fana ya mwele. And I can tell you, atenala is so ko ntene itol mamit sutola. Ntanyi molbe men commande sutola. Said and done. This were what they were doing. Kata induce, for example, I can tell you, Malmo, I am very popular, better than Demba Sabali in his constituency called Bantanya Ward. Ndara dawada ikan kumandle ya foko ngalo inkango menke fonyin kolye. But this was an environment is purely Bondali. I was assisting Padembo Sane and his executive, and again the NATO Alliance movement to make sure that sitting remain. But Kabiri election of Binakante, what I told the people of Bantanya, campaign mandanda, though I was having in and out, but from day one up to the last day, I was going through villages in Bantanya ward to talk to our people. Yeah, understand ko. It's not about development. It's not about whatever, but it's about one individual or a cohort group within the NPP selling their name to Baro ya Jeko Ibedokuola, ye ward win. It's not about development. And we will say that and we will see, it's not about development, it's about how do I present my credentials in terms of, okay, President Baro, you see, I won. So therefore, you see, I won. So, Kabino Waketa, if you look at Bondali, they have two streams, one polling center, that is the Bondali Primary School. Each, I think, is 720 or 24. Then when you go to Bantanjang, a voter population of 278, whatever that end. So I choose to be in Bantanjang to support. And unlata ko, nimme Bantanjang, or Vuvuzela son. You know Vuvuzelas? Well, I'm ninja football quality camel use. They will not come nearer to that area to fix the situation. But I was also telling the executive of Honorable Pademboko what they will also what they should also do is let them be vigilant and go on to fetching people. Okay, someone let them come and vote. Because voter apathy finance between both polling stations. Because what happened is out of 278, we had registered Noto Alliance Independent had 133. Then NPP had 28 votes. I was told in previous elections, Nasiata 5, Kajin and Duma. Then the other independent had 2. So a total of 160 something votes altogether, Melia Cartefi. Now, I also went through the record because we are bordered. You pass my constituency, that is Jonye, then you do Bantanjang in Bondali. We are very close. You know, I know them, and some of this area we've also established masajids in this area. Na Quranic routines, we do go to these areas. I'm not only known by politics. I want to correct people here along. I'm an Islamic propagator. I went to every village corner in the length and breadth of this country to spread dawah. So, for you, Fana Mankented Blood Man go just political ad Nangajele visit. So, coming okay, sign, we have to solidify our grounds in Bantanjang. Bantanjang, when we try and get 145 votes towards 150, 160, 175, we will take this election. We'll have victorious in this election. No, honorable, I know what I'm telling you. Demba has no grounds. And then in Dembala heated, I'm telling you, somebody told me, I come for Fulolio ko, ntelanga for ko atemu fula kantar lalede. So fulo me along kalata fula yala, akana carte fai bakare manga. I'm telling you, all this evidence will come. Dirty politics you only use in this constituency, in which boys all can take commandile.
Let me
Boys
say
will
this,
call you. Yes.
it's very clear that NPP la political NPP malo tonyan in tilongoning equality sabatin dola Gambia. It is not news that this is their style of politics. They are very ethnocentric, they are very divisive, and of course they have very toxic means of doing politics. But before that, nyinlo masa kunda de min lota one Friday if when you call be by masa kunda do kola.
Yeah.
Masa kunda de min lota mi alon ko quite a good number of people buy from the army on no grounds. Nyinlo multi min alon ko they look at people. I don't filter it because I speak it as it is. They look at somebody because of your ethnic background. You ko mu rebelolti ye by army ko mu salif ajo dingolti. Nyinlo multi min alon ko they militarized the entire Fonyi, came even killing people and telling them obey the law or be consumed by the law. They came to Fonyi removing women borehole pumps to starve the people and of course put la FIFA on BFA. Today, this is the same political party that is actually winning in Fonyi. How does that resonate with the people of Fonyi? And of course, using some people in Fonyi who are only after positions in the NPP government trying to show that in the generality of it, how do you feel as an individual, knowing all the subjugation that this government is hell bent on putting on the people of Fonyi? And of course, today, they are actually going out of Fonyi with victory.
Yeah, I can. Yes, are you hearing me?
Very well, sir.
Good. I can say this. Let me just clear this. Then election went up to around 2 o'clock. I called the youth leader of Bantanjang. I have 8 names clearly who are people of Bantanjang. Can you go and fetch for them to come and vote? Nkoyoko, based on the list that I have, I was able to critique it. Ngajeko, 8 people died within this period. From Arabal former council election till date, 8 people died. 3 people traveled out of the country. Now, in Bantanyang alone, I can tell you, we have 103 that didn't cast their votes. 103 that didn't cast their vote. Nkoila secretary and in the villages. Where are the people of Kayabor? Melman voting ke. Where are the people of Jifony? Melman voting ke. Where are the people of Bajiran? Melman voting ke. Where are the people of Bantanya? Melman voting. Can we go and fetch them? At least we have 50 votes. I am telling you, and I told them promisingly, we will emerge victorious. Oman Nake. Then we went to Bondali. They won one pool instead. That is pool A. Ejele won. So Ntolu, we won at pool B. Now, cumulatively, there is also Jube. It's about 402 to 397, 5 votes. Dama, Ilani Wuro Be, 5 votes. And secondly, also, we had another independent who had 155. For example, Nioma Lonu, it could have been history for NPP. And near the Wolota Numfanang, Bantanja ne effort Kenunje, it could have been history for NPP. And I was not made to understand that even in Kawali, Mojamal Mamfindina election. I was disappointed. Even the honorable member of close brothers, I was told they were bought by the NPP against their own. So, Ntolbenda Suto Menna, Nkamem for a Nataramanga Tonyad, do Fanama for Conterwati Kola, CDA, na to declare this score Nkamem for, and do Fana Clairvaco, Ntolin do Bentale, Alamoto, Ak, Nkweko do, Janem Fonit, fit, aborta, Ndada Kayabor, Idada Dawada and Dekadune. That day, I can tell you, for me to sleep even 1 hour or 2 hours, it is B. But Kabiring on the 9, 10, I was unable to sleep because of what? To make sure they will not be able to. But the fact of the matter is, after all this brutality, maybe you may have heard of him, who is from Kayabor. In the meeting, Demba dia Ndol Jalai, Lota Jenga for Alanin Sate, Kayabor Sate Kono. Seku Kujabi was the director of AMRC. But the AMRC Janjande, they throw Seku just like a garbage at Minister of Transport. Seku Watara can call Han Sirango Madiala, Han Officer Madiala. Na fisiata, sign na fisiata, ye office din diala, ye Sirango diala. But they were using some of these people. Ye punishment K, ye buy, ye could be K. You want to go into getting people to vote for this government who had humiliatingly did this for you. And he's my nephew who was sponsored by Jame to go and study in Taiwan. Nkayako, segula moto akamembori ninu, ndola moto sifalem. But the segula moto sign, ala nyininka moti nyadilem. So the same, they'll come and, okay, Malmo, yane, even Mansakunda, many palace dealer. Na. So this is what they're using some of our unfortunate people. So now, for me, my trial is something went wrong in this election. 1, people were not out to vote. Secondly, inducement. Thirdly, we need to do a campaign sensitization for the people of Bondali to understand the arithmetic that these people, it don't have to use against them. January 2026. This is just I have series because series 1, 2 I have up to series 10. I have stored it, save it for him not to come and fool the people of Fonyi. So far, I am alive. Because I mean for well and tell me the problem not. ha ndele ka kira kon tele tam fonyiti anyway mediamala unko alhamdulillah. The reason being is I will not be a son of Fonyi to join their dirty politics, fool my people, betray my people for only a few coins. Many alonko, it cannot even benefit me. It can more me use. Ibuka Fempendila I 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, $500,000, 5,000. Because what he did was he went to Bajiran and gave the youth 20,000 plus jerseys. More than 10, 15 years, he has never stepped in that village. He went to Bantanjang and gave them 20,000 plus jerseys. And now I can tell you, I was informed day before yesterday by the youths of Burambang. And the robot diamond ako. Iko ye kumandile pureta jerseys solta. Idiample la buro ka nalbita. Go and take the jerseys. But nalbita aning Allah voters karo kanata. Nal voters karo tatale. Ibol talal buli afoko ibariki salale. Jandi election ita adilala. Boy, no, hey, bro, yale menketa. I'm speaking from a class of Melia Fonya. Iko. Wokola, iko okay, ndolu kanale. Iko hani nalbina. Anal voters katole na. Registration or kelale. This was why the use of Burambang definitely stayed away. Imanta kao jasi solta. And let me also put this to you. We have little resources. Ntolu, the like of UDP, NDP, Yankuba Dabonya, and other people outside, will contribute add to your fuel, add to your vehicles. This was the mode of campaign that we went toward. But these people, I can tell you, if you have any person that you know in Denton Bridge, before nomination caller, they commit vehicles of government, parastatals, departments, a driver from a salient department in Kumanda ko honorable audio fintinet di amubang ndo lamoto sa mbuka hani katambi banyuna nintambita ika sisile ko itol kata by election la Fonyi Bantanja e kata by election la Kayaf, and which I saw. I went to Banjun, then Timintambra Jangamutol Londe, and with the same vehicles, Ikawala use in Fonyi, the same vehicles, Ikawala use in Kayaf. So it means they have resources in their disposal. They can do whatever they like. This was the people, what like I forgot, Jamel Kaoke. But they did that to me. So, neither will they make a winning. I will send you a video. Yala moy. Niatrante, I haven't got patient. Because Dino and Kulu Bakele, and our society also into Kulule. Fula Muso, Abenendiro like a cante, either follow Kerfado. Wala VOD, a video demanding 1 hour, some minutes, you hear a fuller woman insulting. I can tell a no. I stood. I am from Fonyi. And I will not bend my eyes in Fonyi. Only a cohort group, melanco, they are not even handful. Ye diamu kula. I nendiro leke ntela anemfem kolto. But I stood. I waved at Abdullah Baji, the candidate, and in the supporters of NPP. And you could also see, Kabirim Bodnam Bantanja, I went straight to Bondali police station. I shook with hand with Demba. I have no qualms in the political realm. Dusano, we hawk each other. This is about politics. But you mem plan Walenko, Nintanga Musonying Atakuno. Imagine it's going to be a Fuller and Jola war. I am matured, in Tamata, Ngalong, in Canada, I have served on the people have served under me. Unko remember diamala is empty among Bulubani Marafangolong, which I spoke Kaitan Doko, we are all funny. So maybe ye Walenko, Bondali people have to go to a drawing board, and in which I personally would not leave them. I will also join them to make sure we change the narratives, to rebuild and rebrand their structural politics. Kaitan Doko, this is a trial, this is a test, Menketa. And I may not blame anybody, but I will blame the people of Bantanyang. Ward. Meli alonko one, a manna ko vote a manna to make sure that they could solidify their grounds against any melonko sama kama asela kuolu talande no. But I can tell you, nganyobari wala kede suto nge baindile aseniata. They induce using religious leaders, chiefs, Alkalos, ke intermediate, you beleke in Fonyi, but they are only able to succeed with 5 votes. Lulu. So nibe celebration ya long ko last election Arabala time is a big match between us and them. But now it all ko they collaborated with Fabakari Lamoila APRC. They still have 5 votes. They collaborated with NRP. They still have 5 votes. They collaborated with GDPD. They still have 5 votes. They collaborated with other citizen alliance. They still have 5 votes. They collaborated with more than political parties. They only have still 5 votes in Fonyi. And I'm on record. I can tell you the number of people that we have in Fonyi supersede NPP. Fonyi is a no-go area for NPP. Either they like it or not. Wala na celebration okunu. It was only between Bondali, Burambang. They could not even approach Kawali. Bondali, Burambang. And they went to Santamba, Demba Botadamendo, Bon Santamba, Bondali, Buramba. This was their marching ground. But even the crowd so score, it is not. When you go around to the belt, I went to Kawali, Kanjipatu, I went through the zone, Mayok, Kata, Kalang, Burambang Nyolu, I went to Bajiran, Bantanjang, I went to my area. All those environments were quiet. Ndara sate o sare ngamen fo wala nko ngamen fali nung wala nata oto alta ale dadara okay we prepare in a year time for elections but I know
but again if they are able to induce people use alkalos ngajele alkalo do from bayila palasoldo use safe for kolbe using religious leaders. We've seen even a great scholar that said that this elections coming in 2026 is like a penalties without a goalkeeper. So you can basically see that NPP, what would prevent them from doing that going into 2026? Or what measures would you put in place to make sure that those things are not a repeat? Because this has been the style and of course the tool for the NPP to retain power. They divide, they use alkalos, they use chiefs, they fire people who are actually against those kind of things. And we've heard from the president saying, "Ala minister, ate momo ta do kola," and that includes the IEC because they are appointed by the president. Ko wol be nyanta tella dala mutala. Sai ngaje ka alkalo from bayi ka dol threaten, and we've seen some people out of not even out of their own volition. Ika motol ki donko drum purke to la palaso kanta, and then just to avoid problems with the regime because they are using power against them. Now, what can the opposition do to prevent an NPP, victory, which would be out of all these kind of manipulation, deceit, and Tilimbalial and Tajidintel going into 2026, December elections?
actually abaraka bake yare ni aje dol konyako the Bantanjam by elections between Almameh Gibba and Demba Sabali. Many a quote long. Others will ask, but Honorable is not from Bondali, neither Bantanjang. Why so? I remember I made a statement, a viral video that I will tell you still. I don't even regret that. And what I meant it was very clear. Cool. The opposition should stop castigating each other. Item opposition yente fangoneng. Ni opposition do fana ata. It's high time. Nga si tabulo ko nga jakarlo nga itandi ko. When the opposition mess up, it's going to be the same replica memenjekang where they're warning. So this is a signal to every opposition party and the leaders. Let them be frank to each other. Nga eagle bondije, we come as one, have one agenda, that is the Gambia. Nimma okay. We will regret for the rest of our lives, and we cannot make any difference in whatever. Because I can tell you, even every Tom, Dick, and Harry, abe party le launchika. Party movement, party movement, party movement. When you look at their agendas, what they are calling for, akajele but these people are they really serious? And now the NPP, I can tell you for free, all their alliance partners, because one, they pick an alliance partner leader to be a minister or to be given an ambassador deputy positions. So Omodu would not leave those positions to come and unite with oppositions. No, they would rather maintain at the detriment of their people. Because near Juben Tolfango, the APRC Many are they have the papers, and their stronghold is Fonyi. Malmo, Ntemalong for whether they even understand political. It will last singolo, Ibole Fakang very steadily. That area where they won with 5 votes, it is an APRC stronghold. You want to maintain the party. You want to maintain your relevance in politics. Why can they even inform NPP? NPP, look, support us in this end and join us until we lead. But a flag, a party, a symbol, anything that they use in politics is all selling the agenda of NPP and its government. So, ikajeko, all these issues melbe tamakang, ning opposition party, may la difference all fight. They are not sincere and serious in what they are calling for. No, nteleba lilla, nimma lead, nindo ma lead, we cannot come together. These are all messages me alanko, sibo kumo lemo. Sit together, create a platform, have a sense of direction, put your X together, aliakaja sign. How do we work towards our common enemy? The common enemy is the ruling party. So that ruling party now, the oppositions will only make gains, need to natter together. One umbrella with one mission and goal. Oh, no, Malmo, ni Malmo manke leader di, no, ni Almameh Gibba manke leader di, forget about Almameh, forget about Malmo. Come and create that avenue. Then the leadership will come last. But most of these oppositions, they put their leadership criteria before putting the rules that will make sure will help and change the narrative. Until a fear is not the fear of NPP winning, but the fear is my fear of oppositions coming together to speak one voice and change ownership of this country. What I'm not fear because all these political parties, you hear them talking nicely, but touch their leader, no one tell about leader, touch this, tell about that's not. Are we really serious? So this is why Barrow ma worry back because Niatara he saw a befitting force that is coming to unite. I be worried because Menketa in Sibanor IEC office, I got ministers, party surrogates, and friends in NPP who are even here Almameh. We are disappointed. Why are you disappointed? Yes, strong women folks. You know, you UDP. Look at these vultures. You people are all vultures. Why? Because Allah will still be falling. The remains. That's a new element to that. What I mean is very clear. UDP is a party. We are a movement. Handana Marigisa as a party, but we have people. Whoever is genuinely ready to see Gambia first, we will talk on terms and conditions. We will not betray each other like Kuala in 2016, and we will join force to make sure we uproot Barrow. And that is our mission.
I just want to intervene here quickly before Doc continue our question. Niada jibe mojamali aje ni recently ani UDP ayala kulubla nyobu. No fane yakuma konfo no golam oppositional nyane bulobla nyoko na purka jako they fight the common denominator, which is President Barrow. Would there be a possible coalition between UDP and North Alliance, or it's going to be an alliance form? Well, they are more standard-sided, which is which?
Yeah, actually, I think it's also very important. Now I'll clarify. We haven't got any alliance talk. Mankacha kakameng alliance wala mitin mansoto kakameng alliance wala safer manke kakameng alliance wala. Membije walenko me NPP demi walenko when we declare our candidate UDP ko ndolofana we have people here there mantara mo londila ndol lafta kal support keba mani fananko ndol ngala candidate jale de mantara mo londila ndol lafta kal support sign ilafta no menna walenko ndol we could have come all Alkalos UDP Almameh betia alkanandol support NDP Almameh betia alkanandol support ilafta num wallela nga walla foy nun ko UDP e balafa soto konto lamole banta and is our seat. The Kumbo joined Dolphin and Kumbo Ranyola, the same like NDP. But I can tell you there is no alliance talk that I am aware. Ko Mekela alliance. Wala safero, wala invitation for towards in any alliance discussion among follow. It is just like we have a candidate in Bondali, Bantanya Ward, UDP Malondi, they join us to support us. We have a candidate in Bantanya Ward, NDP Malondi, they join to support us. Even Mama Kande help us financially to support us. I can tell you for free. So maybe it's not about UDP, it's not about whatever, it's not about an alliance. There is no alliance that is made or kasha keta. It is just like we sympathize your condition. Ibe bungole lokang. Ela brore na. Musa iba kata kan bakel de. Nyin transota ya cement borosa ya lafa je. Ya na o mafo ko ila bungo palaso bondi nyeje. So that is the situation. And I can tell you UDP contributed the resources and again the manpower. NDP resources, manpower. Mama Candido Amanna, but he chipped in financially to a token to give it to us. So Membi Jawalenko, they have a fear. The fear Walenko. Ni you been to get a cup. A Tonyada. I announced that Barrow is going to Morocco. Because allegedly I want to join his father. That is Macky Sall. Come 2026. That is their fear. But let me tell you, for me, actually, I won't rule out anything until Ninja man discuss alliance la. Party man discuss alliance until MP man discuss alliance. There is no alliance. Kasha manke, Safer manke, invitation manke, molebe diamokang. It is only a sympathy that all those parties are seeing co. Let's not go and disturb ourselves in Fonyi. Let's give the opposition and NATO alliance a chance to get back their seat. But the NPP mo balafa sotode. Wala nanga for go. Niamo a national problem party in this country wala NPP.
National problem party. So Honorable, before Doc being in the next question, I just want to have a follow-up question about this UDP NATO alliance relationship as we are speaking now. Multiple election year we have like 10 months to go. And serious countries around the world, if they have 10 years to go, coalition discussion will start there and then catch up will do. Yeah, feel diamo kono mama kande intervene there. Pour ka support Nintandi in other way around. UDP physically they have been on the ground. Financially yata ni je fana ko ifa saro kale pour ka je ko ka sympathize pour la place woni alsa reken no nyami. Now that we have different opposition parties, me and Banko with credible opposition parties. You can say Lam Jedabo, we have seen you going with him into the court and stuff like that. We will come to that. But saying ni UDP, Bibi Dala, yan approach, Puru Alnale Kapanya Kafunyo Kampurka incumbent in Kele. Fe Jikitako, President Jambe, Mialoko, signed him Atalamu Alanyaton Koti. I'm starting to be corrected if I'm wrong. Do you believe that President Jambe is going to accept going into bed with UDP?
Actually, Baraka Banke. Ila Ninkaro better back. Antolu, to be candid with you, opposition parties are going around. And one thing that I also want to make very clear J. Dabo is our lawyer. When the whole country lawyers said against us, they didn't stood behind us. He came pro bonus. Mandala so dialade, handala so. We don't even give it to him. He sympathized with our condition. He wants to fight trial member carry him in the Muslim Ummah and our cultural beliefs and norms. Well, I intervened. But I can tell you, he is one of my best candidates. I can tell you, he is one of my best candidates so far in the political arena. Coming to alliance, I believe Jame, we do discuss with Jame. Even in by-election, Kabili Urokera, I think you saw a write-off from Wali Jinio, just trying to confuse the situation. Another Atefanaya along, UMC, Walem Talib La Molte, we spoke, Eko, the candidate of Londila, Walana Alajin Jai Melota, they came all our Kaitan, Alajin Jai, though he moved away from UDP and joined Talib, but Talib La Mol Konyoko, it will Malondi, and they made it publicly. And for them, they support morally, and even calling us, Kaitenoko, we are behind you. So maybe in terms of alliance, Kabila Saferoke, Jamme, they wanted to use Jamme, Puru Jamme Fina and debunk. Ebajas and Jamme Bayrok and Dolbe Malolale, then they can use that and climb onto us and get what they want. So Jamme was quiet. Jamme, Akungo Fatale. Jamme Memoy, Namem Fire, our long, our Calamra Co. Ntolenga candidate or Lunde. Nilul Menkana, they want to support us. Ako, why not? So in terms of coalition talks, I can tell you for free, Jammeh is still our leader, and he's still going to be our leader. Ndol mote o soso no la kawita ko other fans are moment mantarajang. If whatever they are saying, let them say it. We believe in what we believe. Membije Walenko, if we are going into any alliance discussion, Jammeh Tula Koma, we will discuss with him and discuss with any alliance partner. Mary Alonko will work together to change the narrative of this country. But I am telling you, Jammeh Falago, Alnin Kare Canadiam, Alnin Kare Canadiam. What Jammeh made very clear that we all know that he's still insisting ako no to alliance with NPE. This was what had no to alliance with Ako. Jammeh said this ako no to alliance with NPE. Now all along, no to alliance killer as at now, but for opposition parties, the door is open. And Niwato Sita, as you have said, right, you are very right, Wato Tadale, but we'll also put our house in order because election time, as an executive, we'll call for an executive meeting. Seriously, we go into exploring 2026 in order to join force or to be on our own as a movement to come with a candidate or to join force with other political parties to make the narrative. So these two things, as far as I know, we may join force with a coalition, or we may have a candidate that will stand for our movement. But Jimfulolu is all possible. Nobody will say we cannot go in. And I can tell you, if we really want to control and make change to the incumbent, oppositions must all come together. What is a must there? Nimman now all together is going to be history for opposition parties.
All right, that's quite elaborate. Kukilinde, Mbejan Salawato, you are one person that I personally hold a lot of respect for, and we hope that Honorable Almameh Gibba does not change, and no matter what, you stood for your people, and at all times, regardless of whatever, you have always been there, and that's one thing. Hadamadingo drong tilingon in Tonya odrona kwaita. And we've seen that you follow that part all throughout, and that's very commendable and respectable. Now, for me, I would do away from, I would move a little bit from the politics because already aiming for Kwaitale, we've seen the opposition. We know that only them coming together would be the best way to remove this regime, and that will not, put on the sideline that the No to Alliance, should be willing and able and, of course, ready to work hand in glove with the existing opposition parties in the Gambia. Hadama dungo mo killing, just to say, oh no, Karen Malafina. It's NPP's politics. But a new more killing will go, yeah, Jammeh will not come back here. And then turn around and tell you, oh, Yanko Badabo was opposing Jammeh, and of course, Almameh is trying to allow them to come and support his candidate. How about the person who actually defeated Jammeh in the elections? So, all of these things are just, common sense, that people try to play for their own political games. I want to put Jammeh's leadership under a microscope and on different levels. First, let's start with the Gambia College. I remember when some of us started higher education, it was free. You receive a stipend of 500 and you pay some dues and you're left with about 390. You have free accommodation within. Since the change of regime, people pay to go to college. Thousands and thousands of dollars. Poor peasant pharmacy, Dingwal Bukatano College, it was free. But even after completion, people don't get jobs. Upon completion, more lebe sitting Gambia, they've completed their nursing undergraduate degrees over 1 year ago. It may employ. Mole Gambia College Bank, Sanji Fula, Sanji Saba, it may employ. Mole Public Health Bank, Sanji Killing, Sanji Fula, it may employ. As a National Assembly member,
You listen to ministers telling us that uneducated people walla kata back way. Do ko be nyimban ko kanne. Mone atinne manta ke masongoliti. Mone atinne manta badal to kata do ko. But we have professionals, practitioners, many alonko. Wali karango bande, they went to college, they paid their own money because they've neglected the institution and removed all the financing from it. And now people don't get jobs and people resort to going to illegal migration. As a National Assembly member, how do you people look at all these, compounding challenges for the young people of this country? Yet there are no solutions and people are dying at sea. Yet the government will come out and organize a mega rally to insult parents, telling them that suicide commit.
Thank you very much. It's rather unfortunate. Dr. Cisse, lastly, are you been used as an instrument to be a griot of this government? And again, it was this same government that you were a critic to. What an assign in this global village, people need to be very careful of what you say. Vale be caring sa, eka vale bondina. Nunto ye memfo, anen sa ye memfo. So ninte, niye vao bondi nte, natran telem. Me malula back. Eka memfo, this past budget, I want you to follow. Ndeka memfo, I stood my ground. A productive sector like higher education ministry. It is one of the ministry that Prof. Gomez is doing immensely well. I had a beef with National Assembly members. I can tell you, Mesiri meant to be. Don't you see news of China, the new one scholarship? China. Good. I told them, this year we approved 100 million for scholarships. Until we have farmers, we have people abroad who are studying. Government is still struggling to pay them. Secondly, also, we have 100 and something billion, 100 and something million that higher education is owing to UTG, Gambia College, GTTI, you name them, you said. Now, can't we give this higher education 200 million that they will be able to cater some of these scholarships? In Balanta, we fought until OMVG la Kurango, Kurango members. For some of these ministers are empty. They don't even know about governance. They have not even worked in government. They have not even worked in any. Like a President Monsela, need to go sign way to agriculture. It's going to be very difficult for him to even understand the types of land tenure system, fertilizer that you use, whatever. So what I understand Nola. Because maybe the Minister of Finance knew OMVG government la commitment bijele. They failed to do that government commitment. They could not also factor it in the 2026 budget. They came empty to parliament. It was us who they relied, kneel down on us, the Minister of Petroleum, Kaitanoko, they needed. And according to what I was told, they needed only 80 million. But based on political whatever, we were able to give them 200 million onto that petroleum issue. That is the OMVG issue. So I knew Molka Wuli, Yeta village of Solto, Contrilto, Kafu and Tolanga Kurang was Sambanang. We village or a constituency in a deputy Kodoni approve. Who are silly? You mind your Motimengo Kuntela? It's them who are shouting. They could not. Now, in making so some of these issues are happening, let's cut the 200 million. At least 50. We add it to the scholarship. I get 150 million for scholarship of higher education in Mansong. Then lastly, we bottle about 3.5 million. Now only add to 100 million. I mean the higher education. But my message to them was, I'll see. Mba moila, mba jela ko scholarship for problem bekere. Mona manke. When we open in March, I will rewind the cassette and tell them, ko ngambe mfali enu wole nata. This minister doesn't segregate a Jolalem, a Manjahwalem, a Muslimlem, a Christianlem, a Papellem. So far you apply, you have the chance, he gives you scholarships. In which us, undon fanang ka lole na molu fanang, yela scholarship soto, which the number of him saying NPP had 200 scholarships. No single person from Bondali as a constituency. I mean, them are NPP la scholarship because ago the Bondali people didn't apply. Do you know why? He is not connected to the people of Bondali. How do he know? None of the Bondali, even to meet him, is a problem. I was told day before yesterday, and until we are monitoring with basic and secondary education, fully monitoring. Now a teacher or teacher arrests. Even Demba will regret for the rest of your life. I am putting this on this platform. I have never discussed this with anybody. Demba la, eagerness, la pompousness cannot be sold in Fonyi. We have to cut his feathers. Along he has to be a Fonyinka. Either he like it or not. Menke the teacher. One let Tata ala suokono day before yesterday. Or 4 days ago. I call go Alisijang I domoro dila like domoroke. He went and sleep. I bulaji. I only mamandi. If I go Demba Besino la. You better. I tell you all welcome. I domoro dila okada de la. Kabero okay. Then they went back. Kabero muluta. They called the oddly. Anila mol ntolo fana nada je minister ko yoko na. But if I mol kemen ntolo we don't expect this. As teachers, we have some issues that we wanted to explain to him as a minister of this area. Amanda Nyede, he called the teacher. And on them by Nyima, we have evidence, Mayor Alonko. He'll be very shocked. And Barofana Alonko, these are scammers that are in his government only for their interest, not the interest of the people. In this period, the election will be contended. Teacher data kajube. So kabidada, ate a call nang. Ibebe siring. Nalma Hakloto, I'll send the police to come and arrest you. You cannot tell me this rubbish word. You cannot tell me this. You cannot tell me this. And then you call for lenye. What ko yego haniko? Ndonna de ya yemol bulaje. Ngawale ko nyine ko we don't expect this. But we are monitoring the situation. Students of Bondali are also prepared. Any day he arrests those teachers, they are also ready that they will come out. And I'm also telling them, not only the students of Bondali, we the MPs of Bondali, Fonyi Councillor and Jarol, we will join the students against Demba Pareta Menna, Mbait and Nilaye. But coming down to the scholarship path, we will tell you the score. It is us who failed the Gambian people. I voice out. Education committee. It is going to be very detrimental. Arias Bekeri. We have students who are outside learning. We have students who are in the Gambia. Let's increase the scholarship fund. Now look at this. They're giving how many days? China student will be by now. Near by now they come vulnerable. But the other factor is, it is really very shameful for government. If I'm a leader, I'll take ownership for anything Menketa. It is their failure. It is their problem of this bad way. They are not ready to address it. Because Munatina is only the poor people, you and me, who are going. Because their sons and daughters are in higher educations, in abroad, beautiful universities, whatever, they don't even mind. And when they said, it is only the poor people who are going. I can tell them it's a big lie. I sat in defense and security. I told them, soldiers will lay their arms, remove their uniform, who are paid, sergeants, warrant officers, lance corporal, private soldiers will remove their uniform, their arms, and lay it off sea and join the boat to go to Europe. Nurses will do the same. Teachers will do the same. Farmers will do the same. So they are not employed. It means that I don't know where they get their statistics. What I for Dr. Cisse? I remember government comes and go. And all this, what he's saying and defending, could not be here. Don't defend the defenseless. Lumen na boat of Jenak, capsider. I was in Fonya. I had to cancel the political campaign and came down to Combo. I was at the hospital with Honorable Ba of Banjul and Honorable, how to call it, what's the name again? Honorable Njai of Banjul Central and Banjul North. We were together at the hospital with the naval commander, Amanda Njevo. We went on Navy. See, young boys. Inila Dinungolu, Musonila Dinungolu, very vulnerable. Some of them, you hear their stories, the way they failed, the way they had this trial. And according to that boat, because I saw the government analyze Yamen, they are not coming to tell people the truth. Kabirim Bija spoke to boys, you call it Lakulungo. Follow, men dunta, they were in the sea for almost 2 hours. Gio me kunung, Gio nada for Asiata. Waves nada for Asiata for another kunung. They could not have a rescue team. This is what they told us. And secondly, also, they said it's about 230 people who were in this boat. In that day, they only rescued 39. I think 4 deaths, and the other 6 all come on the other side. That day, almost 10 deaths. Now, as at now, I can tell you, 100 plus is still missing. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. It be back on. Funny, then you may not die. We had just recently, even young Denti Bridge, dead bodies, somebody, they cannot even identify them. Now, if a government says they become very angry to blame parents, yes, one part you can blame parents. Secondly, you can also blame government of lack of what? Securing our country against these people. Jinak. It's 2 Jinaks, Gambia Jinak and the other Jinak of Senegal. If we have a unit, a military unit, a naval unit, immigration are not even empowered. Because why? Immigration below Fango is in government. They don't even bring it to parliament. How can immigration act on ancient laws that they cannot even charge migrants? They cannot even punish people who are in the migrants. So now, if they said it's not their problem, it's their problem. Immigration doesn't even have a unit, a marine unit. And in this bill that I know that we had sat and also went through the bill, it is only for them to bring it to the National Assembly. So they are there. Because migrant board what are they going to charge them? There are no laws that they can charge them. So a government that is serious, you don't even have able laws. You can prosecute or charge people on this illegal migrant. Problem parents only. Who is them? It's them. And secondly, they're not even empowering this immigration. I can tell you, even immigration, they go and collect tax with private vehicles. You can motor letter, Keluas motola, you motor Joe, and they bring revenue to government. How much are they? So now, man sakunda kasika ita ndoko bagwe issue is there a problem? Because I also had, I think Mr. Dr. Ciselem Diamola ko jamela time mentor that bagwe anitola time. Yane Malmo Job, I believe as a human being, Ntolu, 40, 50, 60 years of life should not warrant you to say something male and wasama bakele maloti. The dead that occurs in the Jinak alone supersede Jamila period. They are hiding there. The death that happened within this year period alone of Gambians supersede. Look at how they're challenging Ibrahim migrant. Exactly. And Ibrahim has correct data. That the government didn't even have that data. Government that don't even have a centralized database. How can they keep their data? How can they keep their data? You think that government is serious? Digitalization is zero for this government. So it is their problem. Nobody's problem. It's the government.
Just 1 second. Kabiyela background you introduced. No, I wanted to interject. What you have studied so far. Some of the things that you have learned so far. You are in the other countries like the United States. With all that background intact, I believe, after the parliament, you will see how best you will also develop, younger ones to involve in technology and stuff like that. But I think that will come someday in our subsequent discussion. Today, if people of Pony are listening to you, especially young people, just to add question to what Doc has asked you about, this issue of migration phenomenon, what do you have to tell them? Yes, sometimes they might be hopeless rather. They might be disappointed with the current status quo of the country. But you, as their representative, what initiative would you take to engage these young people? What are some of the things that you're gonna do to ensure that you discourage this irregular migration?
Yeah, before I come with, I think one initiative that I took when I became a parliamentarian, I personally has discussed. I had that rapport with Prof. Gomez, not him being a minister, in passing. That I'm a parliamentarian in Fonyi, Councillor, the birthplace of the former president. Jammeh had left two structures that are solid. It only needs some financial to maintain them. And it could be a hub for our people. And it could also change the narrative against this irregular migration. I go, wow, this is interesting. When you know Canfenda itself, Johnson, where you been to Kanilai, the former road constructors, Artifes Dole Londije, very solid. And when you go to Bulunt in Mandina, before you arrive in Kanilai, Jamila proposed science and technology center Kamemfono. The structures were there, everything was there. It was left. When they came 5 years, 0, 2 years in, 0. So I discussed with Prof. We made a walk. See this one first and the other one. He said, let's choose that of the science and technology proposed by Jammeh. I can happily tell you, and I am on record, Femman Kumpa, the establishment of Kanilai Seal Center, with the aim of me saying, from Bulong to Kalaji, ibe kata GTTI combo, eta karangola combo, eta kulbeko combo, kemechol taga ning combo. Ni wasotota, it will reduce, and again, it will give a shape to the people of Foye. I don't know, Bagwe is not the solution, but Meshol Mukule the man of Kuma at the back. So Kabero Keta, Prof is a lobbyist. I can tell you, Prof is good. He lobbies Ndefan Kabala fire, Mbaloka fire back. He goes and knock on doors to make sure the country gets what it wants. And this is also the same thing that he did in Kanilai Skill Center. It was fully renovated by MRC Holland Foundation. This is why sometimes in Parliament, I do ask them this question. How would the Gambia education system go without MRC Holland Foundation? Fenkol Memfo, Baroka Foko, man over how many days or how many months Nangam classroom. Amankala Kuroti, Amanke Mansakunda Parana Kuroti. MRC Holland Foundation is doing extremely well in education sector, both higher and basic secondary education. So Prof saw them, Henrietta Sonko did a lot of massive, infrastructure or whatever. I renovation will make a full to its capacity. Then Tika, Turkish, also support them with salient and latest materials. I can boast and tell you, this center came when I was a parliamentarian. So this is one thing that I do use. Go into villages, go into Fonyi Councillor Congresses, and inform the younger ones that Alkanata Combo, Alkanata Bagwe, Nala Karango Dasata, grade 9, grade 10, 11, 12, Yabang, Imam Femfesodo, time I can tell you now, in my Fonyi Councillor, I can point and say this chap is one of the best tailors. In my Fonyi Councillor, I can tell this chap, if your satellite had an issue, you don't need to go to Bondali or Bintang or Berfet to bring somebody. My Fonyi Councillor people, the young ones, can solve your problem. If your TV channel satellite has an issue, the Fonyi Councillor chap can do that for you. So I use this institution to serve as a deterrent for illegal migration. And the other point is when just of recent, you saw the brouhaha within me and Demba Sabali, Ago Lojo, Biam Lojo, whatever. It is a friend of mine who came from Sweden, who was hosted there. He joined us in a youth camp. We had a 5 days youth camp from Monday to Friday. So I attended the youth camp. By 2-3, I rose to the campaign. So I was grilling him in his constituency and putting the best time in my constituency. So I was doing multitasking. In ICT, you know what is multitasking,
Okay.
So I was doing that. In the same period, he was not at ease. So if I had given the full of me in his constituency, maybe Ebakumalana he's admitted at the intensive care unit in Banjul. All right. So what we had, the motion of this is to educate, and I was also a resource person in this youth camp where we have introduced a lot of governance, illegal migration, conflict resolutions, entrepreneurships, public speaking. These were courses that we were training with my youths, the Fonyi Councillor youths, about 100 and something youths that we had this youth convergent, in which we've instrumentally made it very clear to them against illegal migration, against early marriage, against issues that are not normal. How would a youth stand for his constituents? And also put them in positions of representation. Parliamentary and parliamentary functions were also spelled out to them. Local governance, how and what do a local governance do? So it was an area where I also use this to say that we could use this to educate our kids against illegal migration. And I can tell you, records are there. I don't say Fonyi Councillor don't normally go through this journey, but it's minimal. And from now on, they have known and learned that being in Europe, taking pictures in where flowers are, the story building, doesn't mean that you are rich.
Exactly.
But you can make it here and have exemplary use the institution in Kanila. I can tell you, one of, not to demoralize our soul, a dropout from a village with a child, registered in Kanila. The child is still suckling the child in her process of studies. But today, Abama la asobio, ila salol, ila dino la bayol, atele abe kara at the institute, Abama man kodi diala, Fama man kodi diala, atafang la ba man kodi diala, thanks to the proactive role that Prof. Gomez and I also played to make sure this center is there. So these are salient points that I think will also contribute and serve as a barricade for illegal migration. And not only that, I'm also sensitizing them. Ngata, ila Congress, ne invite go, Alkanata Bagwe, Alkanata Agwaba, Gambia is possible. The Kanila Skill Center, a radio talk shows. I go onto audios. I call Alkalos. I call youth groups, councillors. I invite VDCs. I don't rest. I told them that. And for me also, I go to the center with Mr. Barry. I go and check how many councillors are here. If I see a small number, I hit the villages, hit the Alkalos and their moms and dad. Because the idea is I want my people to be skillful. If they're skillful, they can do it home. If they do it home, they may not need to think using the backway journey.
But again here, Almami, we've seen people graduating from the Gambia College. 3 years into it, they're sitting at home. We've seen people finishing nursing degrees. 1 year plus, they're sitting at home. We've seen public health trained professionals sitting at home. Of course, you as a member, this is probably not applicable to your, specific region. But of course, it's an issue in the country. Like yesterday, I made a post to say Gambia College was free when we were going there, and all of a sudden, it's payable. But then many RN bank, many BSN bank, BSc nursing, many public health bank, Sanji killing Walbes hearing. As a member of the education committee, people are getting the prerequisite education to work in our healthcare. And in your healthcare, GB, Gambia, you don't have one person to a nurse. Probably you have 10 nurses and then you expect them to treat almost like, let's say, 10,000 or 20,000 people. Now you are training people, you cannot even employ them. As a National Assembly member and a member of this education committee that is getting people the right trainings in our institutions, more so in the medical field, yet they are not getting employment. How do we collectively solve this as an assembly? How do we convince the executive to employ these nurses? Because Sanjay killing him was hearing. Would you have to negate the fact that you are a nurse and then go study a skill to stay in the country because you cannot be employed in the health sector? Would you have to stop your HTC education that you've already acquired to go and do something else because the government cannot employ you in the teaching field when we still need a lot of teachers in the field? We still need a lot of nurses and health practitioners in our health facilities. But while be caring to a point that you go to hospital situations, you see how it is. It's deplorable. People are not paid enough, and we've also seen that sometimes it's not even just acquiring skills. You look at civil servants. Civil servants will left on than even some people with skills. What is the salary scale? If you pay me $10,000 and a bag of rice is 2,300, ninga ya tata kombota fonyi le manta move la no every day from fonyi to combo. I have to go and rent. If I am renting and it is about 3,000-4,000, that is almost 6,000 plus into that. Nin dindingol bembule mini alonko every day they need to go to school. They are lunch and everything. I'm spending at least let's say 200-300 on that. And then Niko ebe de panso bondila water alonko Gambia sa baluo da madama for you to get some, eat something that is very good, probably, 500, 700 to 1,000 that you got to spend, and your salary is just 10,000. How do we look at this collectively as a problem? Get employment to people who deserve it, who already have the prerequisite training. Because in total public health, what time more? Ika banyam ika do koso wala nyam. HTC ika banyam in reka do koso wala nyam. Nothing is direct employment. All of these things have changed, and all of these educations before were free, and now you make people pay, and yet after years of completion, they still sit at home.
Yes.
This is a problem.
Yeah, and you are right. Even we sit at the education committee in Kaole Foucault, we have a problem. And most of these problems, Melsa Banno Walem the National Assembly. But the partisanship in this assembly has also destroyed the movement in which we will be able to regulate certain things. For example, Gambia College coming for was free. What name are they giving to Gambia College? It was University or School of Education. When they came with that bill, I can tell you, when they came with that bill, they didn't listen. UTG, USET, sorry, GTI, USET. MDI, School of Civil Service University. So, do you know why? The Barrow-led government are blind. They will only be awake when a new government comes to regulate some of these issues. Do we need Gambia College to be called a university? No. Because why? They also want to come with a legacy, saying, when they came as a government, they established the School of Education and University. University of Education, University of Civil Servant, University of Engineering, whatever you said. That doesn't tell well. UTG could be the core. Then we have what we call branches. UTG alone, what they're spending on salaries, is not even equal to what they are subvented. And now you could push UTG and say, okay, what? You should not increase the fees that you are charging students when you cannot even give them what they want. And they go into what? Issues may along where they cannot even pay their salaries on time. And the other fact that you have said about graduating and unemployed, the government doesn't even create that avenue. Because, for example, now, when you go to Gambia College now, it's not about the results or now, it's not about marks. It's about how much can Gambia College takes to gain money. Any institution that you push monetary gain based on qualification, it becomes a bigger problem. Two, when you go to GTI also, it's not about quality of the results now. It's about how much can we take to cover the fee charges against our salary cost. The same applies to MDI. Then before, there are marks or requirement for you to be into HTC. There are marks and requirement for you to be a PTC holder. There are marks and requirement for you to be public health RN. So the government alone is just using this, not in context of what? Being employed, but in context of saying, okay, how many graduates? How many have graduated? I can give you an example. Immigration is under the intake. I was told that graduates who complete the University of the Gambia is about 200 who applied to be an immigration officer. And in different capacities, North Sol Bijele, management girl Bijele, public health Bijele, you name them, the fields. Now, if those institutions, for example, in health, they are okay and running and they can employ, a nurse may not even vow to become a security officer unless otherwise. The same applies to other fields. But the agronomic environment in the health sector is kaput. Go to Ndemban today. Ndemban alone, wamu dead role eti. Dead. You go to Ndemban, you can't make a jamman kiloptanote. Go to Banjul. Lumen and Tata, Kabin board capsize in Jinak. Honorable Bahbeloring, Honorable Njai Beloring. Honorable, you see, when we the opposition speaks, it can make a control be mansakuna la kajavika. Ako, ni members laring tabelari mindonga bankwalem nyint. Ni member laring, ye dripo pose mindo bankwalem. People sleeps on floor. RVTH, when they tell you a man spend into the maintenance of RVTH, you cannot even believe it. Now let me just take this. Go to CHN in Mansa Congo. I once attended their graduation. Teachers are not even paid properly. Nurses is a problem. Go to CHN in Bansang. They are not even paid. Even taking enrollment is a problem. And now they went into opening private nursing schools that cannot even educate our nurses in quality. Then some of them are pushed into health sectors. What do you expect? Those who are trained and professionals cannot even earn a place in employment. Hey, you know, government is doing enough. Training is going. You know, you know, they've opened a training policy. But now, in a serious country, you have to develop your plan for a government. For example, health sector. This much is needed in hospitals. I can tell you, go to some of these hospitals. Nurses, all qualified nurses, problem. When those who are qualified are still not employed. Doctors, you serve for 1 year, they cannot even pay you. Public health, it is employ nola. Go to agriculture. Extension work and man go advanced diploma in agriculture karang. Ibuketano. You employ somebody as your cousin who didn't even go through agricultural schools. So the problem now is government is not prioritizing employment. They are only prioritizing into opening education that are not of quality. Then it becomes a difficult trend for you to be able to observe them. Ntenna broadly accident also last 3 weeks. I am calling Tada mobile traffic. I'm telling you. Kabirim Furada Kanifin General Hospital. Police will go honorable. Until we suffer when we have emergencies here. One nurse, one qualified nurse, the rest, 1, 2, 3, 4, are all RN students who are going to school. Kabirim Furada go bleeding can sign. I think what's affair. Then now I call Dr. Romanya Ndakaje or theater. So that guy who is bleeding, suffocating, had to stay and wait. We waited for almost 1 hour. Let's go to MRC. He was rescued in MRC. Elite nurses and head whatever you call. The most useless and on whatever sector. What am I told? No, no, don't call this, don't call this. I call the senior ministries. Everybody come to Demban. And look at these useless people. I had to restore him to MRC. And I treated him in sort of water. But the problem now is, it is us, the National Assembly, who should hold these ministers on charge. But the problem is, if I pass a motion to charge a minister against his unproductiveness at a successful one. Because we even see when you raise questions in parliament, I want you to follow this. When you raise questions in parliament, you see your fellow parliamentarians supporting their minister because he is from the NPP government against ill will that are happening in the health sector, agricultural sector, you name it, defense sector. So now,
in serious countries
so
like
the
America
problem,
today,
the problem now is the participation in parliament, new woman change, it will be a problem for us to regulate either one, irregular migration, 2, the unemployment, 3, health sector, education sector, and a lot of all these sectors, because you can have laws, you can have, but if there are no checks and balances in those laws, akamutako ye bungo dada momantaraje na meta bungo nyimbe boilale. So this is a parliament that we are in, including me. So our parliament is so partisan so much so that mbuka kuto teno munatina fasa role kake ni mumansa kundala ministry ni mu opposition leti. So membije wala dina abe beti ala fanan next parliamentary election, if ni opposition or the theater, the incumbent, change will begin from there. But as far as we are concerned, we will hold them accountable. Corruption, we pass a lot of laws. We pass a lot of acts. A lot of them. But among those, among those, We had this Russian scandal. Look at what we had. For 3 years, many months akunda molu. An injustice minister, Dauda Melango Nunto, na kumata jang, iba for woli ofele. Activist Chahan Mante Dauda did it. Current Minister of Justice. Dauda Kununa Wulita Jang, Aka Wuri, Mansakunda Tani Justice, rule of law. But this man is pocketed. He's dancing to the tune of Barrow and blackmailing the president's issues and government issues entirely. Because Niatara, Dauda Sobiatanu, the mess that we've seen about the Auditor General, he could have advised the government better. The mess that we saw with Jana Commission, today, upon 3 years, Mbedi Amokang, Dauda Kanaka more blackmail. Yomul be yomul, Jose. But today, are we not seeing a commission in a commission? All is in the same of negligence and greed. Imam Pare Banko, Imam Banko Hati. Some of them are building mansions and elites. Their children are outside. Some of them in Musoni, Dimbal Mantarajang. You and me, vulnerable families are suffering on daily basis. No. Look at scandal in GPA. GPA scandal. Go to Social Security, about 100 something million euros. Social Security, the how do you call them? Pensioners' money are used. Kabosol sang Baroya blow wulin in Banta, Kamarago is a lion. Mepare mol mem pension ila kodo ye wala sawo bosolla. What they accuse about Jamen? Go and see Gamtel. Today 600 people are moved away. 600 people Imantara do kola Gamtel in the name of what? Yebe bondile yebe bay Gamsel dise. Go to GIA. Nero is taking grand handling. GIA is kaput. Go to ports. Today in ports, ita bedame do bi nimmo nene o foe. Ko tonya bedame o besot la ka ite ko okay. Akamata ko jongo la kaburo forol la kaburo. So GPA membije walen ko jongo la toilet forol la toilet. It's in GPA. Yes, okay, solar toilet is different from Gambian solar toilet in our own country. Port concession. Cabinet the committee, I told them, Ministry of whatever, consensus, what in consensus. But be a benyadin, they cannot even dredge the ground. Yamune ke in ports. Sanyang, Yomen for Sanyang. It's going to be an elephant project. Hand block they are just faking people in the same over. So we should hold them accountable. But as parliament, how do we work? Partisanship, they could go on.
Baraka back a time moment to the Namla minute to Lulda Maturaje. Doc Niman follow-up question also though. I just want to wrap the discussion with one question that has to do with Honorable Madam Misamba to the court and subsequently Mero Kedamodi Mialnoko in other arrests and then they are surrounding it. I wanted to know ila case ni ruling Catalanu sang ate mustable about the bull wala muna betala mulbul signing and then musomi was surrounding sending Mialnoko ya alleg no ko atala sabuta di no dola nyakarata na tambonin and I was surrounding the handbeaten thing ibamu simfa nyala takam purka je ko Mero ni isala ko ni address no nyadi anum ila court in 2 minutes, Honorable. I think we have to bring you back because we have a whole lot of things to discuss with you. Discussion on
yeah.
Ajamfada back and Mojamal Ba like and we have a lot of people now. But in 2 minutes.
Yeah, in the issue Yemenfo, Mero Ning ya allegedly, kwa the new Sambanya Kartrad. Ya Samba and Kodia Rulko Moda, then Ya Samba Banjo. But now as we speak, he's going to court in the High Court in Bunduka Kunda. Loyal Lota JS Dabo, Lamin JS Dabo, and Lamin J Dabo, and also how to call it, the other lawyer. If I remember his name, I'll also come out. So Wale Lota currently, the court case is ongoing, and we don't relent because when we had abortion is free. They go on to how to call it, homosexual and other issues. Melanco is ungodly. If all those issues, crimes that are correlated to human harm, will be free then, especially issues men going contain our religion and belief. So Musola Carola, Merola Carola, we are on it. LS Camara is also doing pro bonus. He has also joined J Dabo onto the crusade fight. So as the case is proceeding, I don't want to go into details in the case, but they don't have a case, But our lawyers are doing utmost best to fight for it. But Alhamdulillah, Mamuru Koma be continue kan. Secondly, also about my case that is currently at the Supreme Court. We are fighting, and Imam went and testified. Yes, it was a wonderful deliberation. One Ngan Simba also testified. It was also a wonderful deliberation. Then, as of now, the court case is a holiday, but soon we resume. We are not going to relent, my brother. Ntolu, we are phony warriors, and Ntolu, we will not be barricaded with people who had no intention for this country. Even if I would say, even if we lose this case, the next is to remove the president and bring a president who will uphold with our laws and values. We will not, or else the bill will come out of parliament again. Nimam bata, ndebatala de.
Doc, do you have your last question to Honorable before Babla that time what out of bag? Namna masambal na kwa someday.
Of course, I don't think I have a question because the time is completely done, and that after me follow all on of course, let me put it in a question type. What message do you have for the greater opposition in the Gambia going into 2026?
Yeah, ntenga message omen soto is opposition should open their eyes, learn their lessons, forget their differences, cope with situations, and come together to salvage this country. Nima wake, everybody, momo be dawada. And I'm saying this to all opposition parties. Momo be dawada, opposition be dawada, bankona tunenta will point at you. It is high time for us to forget our difference. It is high time for us to join together. It is high time for us to put all our resources and our minds for a hopeful Gambia. Niwo manke. Tomorrow, all of us blame the opposition people who fail in this country.
All right, thank you very much. It was very good having this wonderful conversation. A lot more really need to be conversed on. There is a lot of question on the, no to alliance, movement as it is, if it would transition into a party and all of that. A lot of things on the opposition front, issues pertaining to Jammeh and a lot of things. I think we need to definitely organize another session to have this conversation. So thank you very much, Mr. Jiba, and it's very good to have you in this conversation. I am one person who holds a lot of respect for you. I am a strong believer in your advocacy in terms of defending the people of Fonyi and standing for the truth at all times. So tilungo nintonya moming ko balun dron kaja ko etama banko etama ni wala banko balun ni wala those are people that we definitely need to hail. Even though collectively in the National Assembly there are a lot of things that could be done better. We've seen how the assembly increased its own salaries while we've seen our civil servants struggling. But of course that is not on you. You've seen how the the incumbents parliamentarians, the way they behave in parliament, more so in a simple majority voting system. It's always like that. But we are following and we are reading along the lines, and we can tell what the facts and the fictions are. And we would encourage you to say that continue to defend your people and low tonyan in Tilungwe, and that's basically what we've seen you do. And we hope that the opposition could see beyond just little partisanship. Ninkarinyol manketeng wala ninkarinyol le kuyada nung kuno. Hani korda ko no muluka kuyala also more they still understand that we are one family. So the common denominator here is the Gambia, and the common problem that we must solve is the government that was brought in to bring about reforms and neglected those reforms, went on to self-perpetuation. Wala ba mo na phone wala ya ning ayata ito ko min beke min tambita wala tolo wala chaka. But anyway, I always not leave my very famous statement that I saw the NPP recently claim that I am Jammeh's son. I would have loved to be. I probably think Jammeh would be happy to have a son like me. But because I'm asking the question, who killed the cops?
Yeah.
Ofana mukula to me yalonko, Useno Bojang is somebody I went to school with. We all grew up in Bruford. We, play football together. To jump Kafoloko simply because he's Useno Bojang, he's a rebel. He killed the cops. He's a member of the UDP. Well, mukula which are not relevant to this conversation. But the whole point is Gambians must be willing and able to speak the truth to this regime, and our collective responsibility is to bring about a meaningful change that will oust this regime and bring about those meaningful reforms. And then Momo Bitalo but they've neglected those reform agendas, and they've only built on self-perpetuation. And ika mini beje ika patindingol form is just a way to go and join the system so they can get position. It's a way to get position. So
Yeah.
wol dole be je nie wol je wol ka party lo min ka ambar nga 1 million o jo nga fenkol soto, I go and join the ruling party, they give me a ministerial role, and that is all they seek. But those who seek the truth and justice would always defend nothing but truth and justice in our country. And we've seen you on that path, and I'm very much appreciative of your efforts, and thank you very
Yeah.
much for joining this conversation this afternoon.
Yeah.
Honorable,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you
you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
It's been a great moment, with you, and we really appreciate your time and everything. Being here with us for 2 hours. It's a long day discussion, but discussion not interest back here. It keep us moving. Fundal fund at the time. Go for one agenda. So maybe la last 10 minutes di wanyama. Imu multi me ano ko banko multi gidi la back it. For check all for
Yeah.
talibol. Ndalo do tara to da mane tara talin. But even though there'll be, I think we have a similar path at some point. But they are really proud of you. I can say that for free. They're really proud of you. And
Yeah.
you can give your last statement, and then we will allow you
Yeah,
to.
Baraka Bake. I think the parang this is the first time. Kabrin jay mama nka mal mon ka follow bakele. And this is it. Ator farang ale lo tonyaka. Albelande abelori menna keep the move and until bele den the Gambia. Secondly, also I'm also thanking greatly for my constituency people. They trust and believe in me. That's for you, councillor. And the member for you, betrayal. I will still stand and I will continue to struggle and also enlighten them. Ni mol me alam ko kana ke filindi ite filindi nola so far I am alive. So fulanya fanang we will also continue to advocate our role as parliamentarians in whatever form that we are in. Currently, I'm also a member of Defense and Security, and I can tell you this is what I've been putting to government. It is called security sector reform. That's what I'm call security sector reform and Sodoja. It's called security sector reporting because we have police bill, abenyamo kono, immigration bill, abenyamo kono, drug law enforcement bill, abenyamo kono, prisons bill, abenyamo kono, SIS bill, NIA, abenyamo kono. It's only National Security Council bill ngamel pass. Fire service bill. It's all what they want to reform. But in Bebe Nyamo kono, how do you reform the security sector? And I'm giving a name to tell you this. Your name a name in parliament called TACOS, terms and condition of service. Because I do follow the ill will that soldiers are facing. But year before last, I advocated with my colleagues and parliament. We were able to give them 100 million towards their terms and conditions. So they come with bills and whatever. They could not do anything. So membije wala nkwatol fana mbelonka mo menkekang alloje. Ndol fana membe lonka mbeka hanada domandi malenga loje. Abe mela nyao nyama either for or against nyato be beti alalen. So finally, for my people and that of Bantanjang and my honorable member for Foni Bondale, Aluta continues. This is just the beginning, and we will amend our problems, challenges that we face, and we rebuild and gain our seat back come 2027. And to my Fonyinka people, from Blog to Kalaji, let's maintain our status quo. Foria Mokangolet, Mokanana, I don't equal to Sama Kama, they'll be pointing at you. What you believe on, believe in it. I can tell you, Arno Jata was murdered with this Barrow government. Dua, ya fire Samba Senegal for 40 days. Ndolengo nyini, we informed the defense minister. The new ye bunki dolla. Musu konomal, nde my own brother, Fabakari, ya muta ya jail in Biam checkpoint, ya Samba Senegal. The brother is paralyzed. Ala 40,000 or Senegalese on Madiala. Ndola dini wala konoma fonyi, konoma ndiro ika wala konoma fonyi Senegalese on. It was history, Jaurala time. Gabege, that is grade 9 exam, and then man break. It is Barola time what happened because of the selling and bombs dropping in Fonyi as if it is Tora Bora mountain war. Abesa dota Fonyi kono. Ndola brother solebe by army kono. He don't jail. They accuse them. So the same people need to nada kaiten the ko. Al nanga kafo. Think twice. the battle, the battle, the battle to save your nation starts with voices. Before Tondabina, let's arm ourselves and defend ourselves politically. So on that note, mena mol be content all followers. Mol be me lamoy and I told Faran, the two of you, I'm very grateful to be in this platform. And I am always available. When we arrange time, we can discuss more and more and more and more. And I will be very willing. And I'm also proud of you. The two of you, keep it up. We will reach our final designation, inshallah. And na sekol fana melo ngo dino la karola. Ngara tulun dino la jawol be dunkan nanne. And we all know that LGBT is taking a step in the Gambia. So na dunta baka indol tinya. It is you and me. Sama kama na dingolu. Wale be sofokan. So let's work towards building a resilience and a culture free and a religious free with all religious alike in this country, but against issues melancholy Western conspirators would put us in a mess. On that note, I'm thanking all of you and I'm very grateful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Thank you.